So you have a woman by the name of Bianca Schoombee. Now, she was an applicant for Miss South Africa 2020. I know, especially a lot of sisters are like, huh? Miss South Africa? Wait a minute. South Africa? Yes, not Miss Europe, Miss South Africa, okay? You know, because you do have at least what estimated 4 million white people live in South Africa, and we know they're there because of the time of apartheid. And they never left after apartheid. You think they would leave and go back to where they originally come from, you know, because they don't want to live under a system where black people is around, you know, and they're not in total control, even they do have some control in the economic area, but that's a thing of a different day. But when she applied, they say her past came back to haunt her. So Bianca was apologizing Wednesday morning after racist tweets posted by her account came up overnight. You know, they started to look through her Twitter. People do that these days. And they say that the content was largely made up of distasteful jokes, but then straight into more dubious territory. A number of tweets were racially insensitive. They say with one offending post making fun of a young boy's skin color. So if we can put that particular post up, and if you see it here, it says, I see a Bianca must fall loading. It's game over for Bianca. So she said, look, he's so black, they had to change the background to white. She's laughing about that. Now, they said one person who claimed to know Bianca Schoombee alleges she used the K word in school, okay, which is the K word is their equivalent to the N word. Okay, now I'm not going to repeat the word here, but you can kind of look it up for yourself because I don't want to be, you know, I don't want to offend my South African brothers and sisters who watch this program. So if you look at this tweet we could put up, it says, we couldn't do anything about it because all the teachers were white and they were always on their side. I remember all the matrics had a matric island where we could chill during the break, and they didn't want us to sit there because we don't belong. On the next tweet, it says, again, the teachers were on their side and it was swept underneath the rug. It said there was so much separation at the school because of girls like Bianca and a squad. It said she does not deserve to be Miss South Africa 2020. And I say that for sure. It said because she is racist and always will be. Yes, Bianca, we haven't forgotten. Yeah, I mean, the internet for sure don't forget. They don't forget. Now, they said that crestfallen from the reaction, Bianca Schoombee posted an apology to her page earlier. The potential Miss South Africa contestant explained that she shared the sentiments and she was only 14. Doesn't matter if you was only 14. You was raised that way, okay? Don't matter what you're supposed to change all of a sudden. And let's say somebody said, well, she probably changed. Don't care. Do not care if she's changed or not. Don't. When you're 14, you know enough at that point that racism is wrong. You know, because I was 14 and I know right from wrong. So don't give me that you was 14. It says she admits to dealing with elements of her past through prayers. Okay. It said the 20-year-old was keen to stress she no longer holds those views. And what's the proof of that? So she says, in light of recent events, discovering my tweets from 6 years ago when I was 14, I would like to profusely apologize. You know, of course, they always apologize as they get caught. It's the same old, same old. You get caught in your racism. Guys, I apologize. I don't think that way no more. I hope, you know, it's important to forgive yourself. And I hope South Africans can forgive me for these immature posts. No, immature posts would be like calling somebody just a name. This is not immature. This is racism. And especially with the history of South Africa with apartheid. And you gonna just consider it immature post? You ain't changed. You have not. Because you would understand that it's not immaturity, it's racism. I really hope that you continue to support me and give me a second chance. Listen, brothers and sisters on the continent, never forgive. Never. You don't forgive racism at all. You have to take a zero tolerance policy to racism. If you forgive them, then it gives them more boldness to do it again. You understand? It's kind of like, if I can explain it, if you have an abusive person in a relationship and they physically abusing you, if you forgive them, every time they're going to hit you again and again and again, because there wasn't a consequence for hitting you. You understand? So when you forgive them for racism, then it lets them know that, hey, these black people are so weak that I could talk crap about them and they'll just forgive me, and then they will do it again. So my brothers in South Africa and sisters in South Africa, never forgive racism. See, this was a big issue for us here in America. Every time these people do something to us or even kill us, we will forgive. Oh, I forgive. I forgive. Why did Jesus tell me to forgive? And now we have a generation of people that say, we better not hear you talk about no forgiveness, because you are not getting our support. Forget that. Only one we're going to forgive is people within our community. When they commit offense against us in the family, these people that's being hateful, especially people who know better, people like her know better. They know better. She knows the history of apartheid. Don't let her apology get you like, oh, well, she did apologize. Forget that. You know, if anything, it's time for you to celebrate, you know, the beauty of the sisters in South Africa. Do that. Don't allow people like her to come up there and apply and win something. No, forget that. Now, some people may say, well, what if they've been living there? And because I'm going to hear that, because Phil, in South Africa, you have people like her, you have Indian people, now you're having Chinese people. It's just not black people. It's kind of like America a little bit in South Africa. I understand that. I do a lot of research. I get it. And, you know, they say, well, in America, it's just not black people, but black people not running America either. So we can't compare that. We don't have the population size. You know, and for sure, we don't have control of a nation like South Africa have control of their nation for the most part. Understand? My thing is, I think that black people need to have a time where they can be celebrated. They can be a part of certain things. And if they want to have other pageants to celebrate other people, go ahead and do that. I'll take no issue with that. If they want to miss Indian South Africa, do that. If they want to miss, you know, white South Africa, they can do that. I don't take issue with that, because they do that mess anyway. You know, in all these different groups. I just believe black people just need a time to celebrate themselves, because we've been beat up for a long time, I'm going to say. We've been beat up for a long time, especially with colonization. And I just take issue with people like this woman trying to call herself Miss South Africa when her people came from the Netherlands. Why don't she become Miss Netherlands? I wouldn't take no issue with that. I would support her running for the Miss Netherlands pageant. And I would hope she win. But when it comes to Miss South Africa, I think there's a lot of black women that are there that should be able to compete and should be able to represent South Africa well. That's just my opinion. Some people may feel that, well, that's just a little too radical. But, you know, when South Africans are going to have more of that approach anyway? You tried it the other way around. It just didn't work out. We tried to praying. We tried to forgiving. We tried to work with you. We tried to integrate. We tried to do everything to try to have a great relationship, and it just has not worked. That's why I love Julius Malema in South Africa. He needs to be your president. I love the EFF because what they stand for is right. And you do need groups in South Africa that definitely promotes African nationalism. And nationalism is something that will turn around the African continent. It would. So and when it comes to your beauty, you have to celebrate the black woman there in South Africa. I think, you know, Becky didn't have enough time ruling a few things, don't you think? But leave me a comment, you know, let me know what you think about that, whether you agree with that position or not. I want to hear my South African people who do watch this channel. Shout out to you guys. Let me know if you think about, you know, Bianca and her position, and do you agree with people like Bianca becoming Miss South Africa? Maybe you're different than me on that. Or do you think that, you know, no, it should be black women? Let me know.